Happy Friday, everyone. It was a fantastic day in the stock market today. Quantum stocks especially were up in a significant way. We're talking double-digit percentage increases in many of our most followed quantum stock pure plays. We're going to take a look at quantum stocks. We're going to take a look at upcoming earnings. We're going to go over price analysis since all of these companies are now done moving for the day. The market is now closed. And we're going to talk about what we could possibly expect for next week. We know that right now the market is having a historic run. We haven't seen anything like this in 20 years. And we haven't really seen a deal yet with another country on trade. We haven't seen any tangible evidence that tariff talks are going to ease. We just have some notions that there's some, it's a lot of hearsay and a lot of hope, but there hasn't been a lot of like tangible, concrete news. And there hasn't been any Fed rate cuts or any other major catalyst to move the market. So today we're going to talk about all of this. We're going to talk about some of our favorite quantum stocks. We're going to look at the quantum watch list, and we're going to go into price analysis as well. We're going to look at a couple news pieces just on the general wider market as well. So we have a lot to cover, and we're going to jump right in. So the S&P 500 has posted its longest winning streak in 20 years as Trump and China show some willingness to bend on trade. So this is a pretty crazy article to headline to see that 20 years we haven't seen an S&P run like this. It also could be, quite frankly, because the market has been beaten down for so long that the market just wants to recover. It wants any idea, any notion of good news, any hope to cling on to. And quantum specifically, we just had a wild day. The theme of quantum is alive and well. As we can see, the market closed today with Rigetti moving 16% in one trading session, 15% on LAES, 14% on QUBT, 13% on QBTS, and 13% on IonQ. And this wasn't a fluke. This wasn't really, this was a strong rally that held through the day. In fact, one of the things that you can look at to help you kind of see that the health of charts is you can just kind of zoom into the thumbnail of the chart. I do this a lot, and you can just see looks like this ticker, which one is this? Skywater was a little bit more volatile, but a lot of these, they gained and then they held their gains all day. So really just a green day down the list. That's why I'm wearing the green jacket. Got to stay with the theme of the day. So the S&P 500 has officially wiped out losses from the Trump tariff losses. We hit a level on the S&P 500 on a solid jobs report. So that was one thing that came through this morning. And it does appear that there is an effort from both the US and China to ease trade tensions. Although we don't have anything concrete, we don't have anything solid at this time, just the fact that there are those headlines has been enough for the market and investors to feel more comfortable. So let's look at the CNN Fear and Greed Index. And we see that we're at a 43, and we were down here at extreme fear at 4 for what seemed like weeks. So 43 feels like paradise at this point. Like the market's just kind of like la 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 la. Like we'll just kind of move up slowly and just see what happens. And what did our heat map look like? Well, we closed the day with Meta up another 4%. Microsoft up another 2%, Google 1.6, Nvidia 2.5. Apple has some concerns. There's investor concerns about tariffs hitting Apple particularly hard. So unfortunately, Apple wasn't able to join the party today, but pretty much everyone else besides Apple and Amazon had a nice green day. Let's take a look now at some individual price action. I also wanted to take a moment and read a couple quick emails to you all that I've received in the last couple days. So hello, Majid. I found you through Gene Inger and have been watching your YouTube videos since your interview with Gene. I've invested in ARQQ, LAES, QBTS, SoFi, and a few others. You do a great analysis. Keep up the outstanding work. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ron. And I know that a lot of people that follow this channel, I know that this channel is a niche within a niche. We're talking about like a very small, quiet corner of the stock market, a very specialized area, but I appreciate that there's like-minded investors like yourself that hold a lot of the same names that I have. I think the market's very exciting and there's always a lot of opportunity, and quantum has presented itself as potentially a generational investing opportunity. And then here's another one. Just wanted to say, I enjoy your show and believe in the future of quantum computing. I believe this is early technology and we will eventually use it in everyday life. 20 years from now, we will be early investors in QC, quantum computing, and be considered the lucky ones that invested early. I'm currently investing in the ETF, QTUM, Rigetti, QBTS, IonQ, and LAES. Love your show. Keep the good content coming. Thank you. And thank you all. Like, I really appreciate the support and the positive words. And I've appreciated also the community of like-minded investors that have just been kind of gradually assembling over time. Like I'm just doing this for fun. It's interesting for me. It's not something I've never had a YouTube channel before or anything like that. So, just trying to share information and add value. And just for those of you who are like newer to the channel, the reason I started doing all this was really like in January when quantum stocks basically had their crash, because I was looking for, because of NVIDIA's CEO had made a comment that quantum was 15, 20, or 30 years away. And I wanted to just do some research and independently verify those claims, since I was a quantum investor among other investments. And I don't say it probably enough, but those of you that follow the channel a little bit more closely have probably gathered that I invest in a lot of different things, not just quantum. I specialize in quantum because it's an area that interests me. And I think it's a super interesting next evolution of tech. But for those of you who are new to the channel, that's kind of why I started this back in January, was to just give some more positive press to quantum in general, give some more positive coverage, and try my best to add value to the conversation. So yeah, just a little segue. And they contacted me through my site, thequantumbull.com. I built this site in the channel within like 2 weeks. And it has different things, like if you want to just imagine the possibilities of quantum computing, if you want to learn more, I put together some education material, news section. So being that I'm just one guy and this is a hobby, I'm trying to capture the highest level news and also write some analysis pieces. So we just put out a new piece here, increasing public and private investments in the U.S. quantum research. Signals strong near-term growth. So this is kind of an amalgamation here of different things that are starting to happen, where we just need to kind of follow the money, right? Like follow the money in emerging and disruptive tech sectors. Follow the money. So we have like New Mexico's moonshot. We have IBM's $150 billion commitment to U.S. innovation. We have New Mexico's Moonshot, I think I already said, and then DARPA's Quantum Benchmarking Initiative. We have the Department of Energy Quantum Leadership Act. So I've just kind of brought all of these recent catalysts into one article. So go over to thequantumbull.com, take a look, and feel free to drop me a line as well. I love hearing from the community and engaging with you all. That's part of the fun of this for me. Okay, so let's take a quick look at our price action from today because it was quite beautiful. QBTS has been a little bit beaten up this week. So if we look back to Monday, we started the week almost touching 8, and we've just sold off. And in QBTS, being the volatile stock it is, and we know that recently some of these smaller companies that we follow have had like frivolous type of lawsuits where investors get worried, and it's almost like in an ambulance chaser type of lawsuit. Like, were you an investor in this stock? Let us know, and maybe we'll create a class action lawsuit, and just kind of BS like that. And, like these smaller companies that are just trying to make a name for themselves and they're trying to change the world. Like, I know Big Bear's been facing this. I know QBTS, that's part of the reason there was some sell-off this week. I just want to acknowledge that if that's the type of investor you are, is looking for like companies to do that too, like, it just doesn't seem like, come on. I mean, these people are just trying to do their best. Like, there's real people that do this work, and they're all great people. I just met a lot of them at the conference as well, and they put on a heck of a conference. So anyway, QBTS recovered handsomely from all of that, and we have, look at that, a 22% increase from trough to peak. So from $6.50 to $8, almost $8 at market close. And I actually picked up, so from a tactical standpoint, I've shared with you all that I've cooled off on my options in this market, but QBTS at that $8 strike, especially when we look back at 6 months, it seems once they clear that $8 hurdle, there's a lot of blue sky ahead. And then I want to look at 1 year for QBTS, and we can clearly see there's this rising support. I want to point this out as well. So if we drop below that rising support, that would be a concern, but looks like we are holding that rising support, and QBTS continues to go up. So just a little refresher, last time QBTS reported earnings, they came out and surprised Wall Street and said, hey, we're going to do actually 4 times the earnings that you think we were going to do. So now coming up, we have QBTS D-Wave's earnings. And if they're able to deliver on that, that would be a great sign for the stock, because they are one of the only quantum stocks that has actually gone above the quantum frenzy price, and they touched $12 around last earnings. So lots of potential upside for QBTS if the macro can stay healthy, if tech can continue moving up. Let's see, let's look at our earnings. So we have D-Wave reporting May 8th. So that's in 6 days. So still a lot of time for the stock to move. So let's hope that D-Wave has some really great earnings and they can continue their awesome momentum in 2025. All right, so we are going to now look at IonQ, which had a really good day. And this is kind of what I was talking about at the start of the episode about just, we had this really just, we exploded through 28 and we exploded through 30. And I want to show you like the significance of those, because for a very long time, IonQ was range bound. And when I say range bound, I mean IonQ hit its head many times on 26. So IonQ was for a couple months trading under 26, and now it's wanting to get back to a place where it's probably more comfortably priced for everything that it brings to the quantum sector, which is in the $30 to $50 range. So we see that there's still considerable amount of upside. If we just grab the chart here and we look at the all-time high, we knew we were at 54. So we're still $24 away from the all-time high. So IonQ it had kind of some meh earnings, but their CEO is very bullish. He always comes out and on Fox Business and other interviews, and he's saying, I think we're the next NVIDIA. So do they surprise Wall Street in this upcoming earnings? And we know that their earnings are May 7th. So it's going to be a busy week next week for quantum. And could we see some potential upside? Let's look at some potential areas of resistance. I'm going to draw a line here, and there's clearly one at 44. So if we measure potential upside from where we closed today to the all-time high, that's a 72% upside. If we measured to previous resistance, that's 41%. Or 15% to the next level. So lots of room for IonQ to run if IonQ can continue to do great work in the quantum realm. And if they come out and have a great earnings, just keep IonQ on your watch list. This is a very critical time for this stock, in my opinion. All right, so Rigetti. We don't need to add an alert. So once again, we're having a similar looking chart. So we had an explosion upward, and then we just kind of held. And we didn't have that volatility that we've seen in the trade. Once the stock got to a certain point, it was fine holding. And we marked this 1036 as a critical level in the past. And it actually broke 1036 cleanly. And why did we mark it as a level? Because we've rejected off of it before. So the next level for Rigetti, and this is looking all the way back to March, so 45 days, we haven't broke $10. So we're getting some bullish price action for quantum for sure. So what could we see potentially in the coming week? I think macro. If the macro can stay good, if we can get some positive news or headlines, maybe we use this $10 as support and we bounce around. Maybe we're range bound in here. In the absolute bull case, we would do something more like this and use. Why am I disconnecting over and over? That TradingView, you got to fix that. So 13 would be another level to look at for Rigetti. Okay, LAES SealsQ had a nice move today, and this is a quantum cybersecurity play. And this is what I want kind of all of you to be thinking about when you're considering quantum investments. There will be a point in the not so distant future when our standard RSA encryption is no longer adequate, is no longer safe from a sufficiently powerful quantum computer. So companies like SealsQ, LAES, and ARQQ, who are building post-quantum solutions, these companies are going to get a lot of attention and there's going to be a lot of demand. And what happens when you're an early investor in a company that suddenly starts to get a lot of deals, a lot of demand, a lot of new contracts and that type of thing? Well, what happens is the stock price goes up. And when we talk about the billions and billions and billions of dollars that are going to be poured into quantum in the coming years, in the coming 2, 3, 5, 10 years, tickers like this they're trading at $2 or $3 right now, $2 or $3. So at one point 2 years ago, Palantir was trading at $5 or $6. So think about how much a stock can change in a short period of time when the narrative changes, when the demand changes. Very similar price action on LAES. I've marked this 285 as a critical level for it to break for me to be convinced that it's in a full bullish reversal. We did not get a full clean break. In fact, we rejected twice here. We see the tip of the wick there is above the 285, but the candlestick itself is still wanting to reject off of that 285. So we're going to have to see on LAES if we are truly out of this downtrend that I've marked before. And it's going to need to break 285. All right, let's take a look at QUBT. QUBT is like the mystical horse of quantum stocks. You don't hear from them. I don't know who the CEO is. QUBT used to be, the ticker used to be a soda company or something like that. And they, instead of going through and paying like brokerage to get their own ticker, they just bought the ticker of this previous soda company, is my understanding. So they have a novel approach, and a lot of these companies have different approaches to quantum. Like you see, D-Wave has an annealing approach to quantum. They're working on a gate-based machine, but that's their approach. You see that IonQ is focused on quantum networking and quantum gate-based computers. And you see Rigetti is building a scalable quantum machine that can be, you can take the quantum processor and plug it into your own unit. You can take pieces of it. You can use their services in the cloud. So QUBT remains to me as one of the mysteries of quantum, and quantum is already kind of a mysterious thing in the first place. But I have a position because I'm bullish on the whole sector of quantum, and I don't want to necessarily believe all the hype or the negativity. And honestly, QUBT and QBTS trade at a similar price level right now. And if we look back 1 year, there was a point where QUBT was trading at $26.81 and then held a $17 price point in December for at least 2 weeks before it dropped down in the quantum crash. Now, has it recovered? Has it signaled a bullish reversal? I'm going to need to see it. Let's mark out some levels here. So we clearly have at this $9, we have some strong resistance where it's rejected many, many times. So we're going to need to see it break above 9 and then 10, and for it to truly be in a bullish, a full bull situation, we're going to need to see it break through 1281, and then it looks like it has quite a bit of room to run in the nosebleeds after that. So we just covered 5 stocks. We covered news, and we covered an exciting market. If you've taken value out of this, please consider leaving a like or subscribe if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to, feel free. And hope you have a great weekend. I'm hoping to post some more content this weekend. Congratulations to all of you who had a nice day in the stock market today. Hopefully you saw some of your positions go green. It has been a very rough stretch of 2 or 3 months. And as a perpetual bull on quantum, not the most fun period of time, but we use times like that of uncertainty and of fear to build up our positions and be ready for good times. Now, I do want to leave you all with this closing thought. Nothing of significance has actually changed. The tariffs are still in place. They're paused, okay? The China-US deal has not been made. We haven't heard of any other deals from any other countries. And are in this period where the Fed is in a perpetual state of wait and see. So if any of those things, if we can get some good news on a trade deal, if we can get a Fed rate cut, if we can get some an actual true concrete de-escalation in the US-China trade, then this market actually has a ton more room to run. It's been very impressive to see this rally. It's been quite nice, but what's the opposite? We need to talk about the floor giving out on all this. So a lot of people are saying that this is an unsustainable rally and this is a rally on nothing. And there are fundamental things that are broken or flawed. The tariff math is broken or flawed. The GDP shrinking is flawed. We're starting to see these big companies in their reports, Amazon and Apple, not giving their best reports or guidance because of tariffs. So what's going to happen with the US economy? Are we headed towards a recession? Is this a top and then we're on our way back down to retest the lows or even go lower? I just want everyone who's an investor to really think about those things. And while there's less fear in the market and there's more hope, realistically, we need to take into consider all possible outcomes. There's always the possibility of black swan events. There's always the possibility of a recession. Someone's always saying a recession is just around the corner. Fully understand that. There are a lot of factors at play here. So let's take the win. Let's enjoy it through the weekend. And let's also protect ourselves going into future trading weeks. All right, y'all, that's all I got for you. And we'll talk to you soon.